back to another episode of GC Talks. On today's episode, we're still touching on what's your story. Today we have a very special guest. She goes by the name of Laura Luketa. Hi Laura, thank you so much for being on this talk show today. It's such an honor to have you here today.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So Laura, tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
I really hate this question because I think
It is a tough question. It is.
It's so awkward. Like, how can you say, like, it's hard to talk about yourself. My name is Laura Luketa. I am 25 years old. I am a Congolese Canadian.
Okay. I'm Congolese myself. So.
Yeah.
Well, I was born in Congo. I'm not really Congolese. I don't know if you'd call it Congolese. But...
Well, technically you are, yeah. Your nationality, right?
Yeah.
I work in the government. I'm a millennial. I don't know.
You're in the hot seat right now.
Yeah, I'm in the hot seat. Recent author, if you could say that. And all in all, I think I'm somebody who's very passionate about seeing other people thrive, especially young women. I'm so passionate about that. I try to do projects that are tailored towards that. So that's a little bit about me.
That's amazing. You talked about you're an author. Can you talk to us about that a little bit more?
Yeah, on my birthday, which was in 2018 of September 30th, I released my first book, which is called Quarter Century Lessons. And that was birthed out of, I guess, pain, I would say. It was actually therapeutic. When I first started writing it, I wasn't actually sure if I was going to release it. I didn't tell anybody. I told like 2 of my friends. I ended up continuing writing, developed the project, and then that's when I decided that, you know what, somebody else could learn from me, some other people might find it helpful, so that's why I decided to release it.
That's amazing. Talk to us about the book. Talk to us about, you just mentioned that you wrote it through birth out of pain. Talk to us about that.
2018 was a very difficult year for me personally, and I could say that in every single aspect of my life. There was so many hardships. In the book, like one of the first lessons that I talked about was a lesson in humility. I'm so glad that God kind of allowed those things to happen, because as much as they hurt, it was like the starting point of when I started to learn not only about myself, but I think that it's a way that God taught me on so many different things. Essentially, I would say, I think the main event that happened was the ending of my relationship, like my engagement. But then there was so many other little things that kind of complemented it, that also taught me important lessons. I kind of compiled and put those things together. That's how I came up with Quarter Century Lessons. I named it Quarter Century Lessons because I released the book on my 25th birthday, and I think I
think it's a good title. It's like, ooh, I want to know what's going on, what's in there, right?
You know, I'm just 25, you know, but even in this short time of being alive and being so young, you know, I had something to share, I had some lessons to share with other people.
If you don't mind talking to us, can you share a little bit? You said you were engaged.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little snippet in there?
Yeah.
I know they want to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, in the book, I obviously mentioned an event that happened. So the event that happened was the violence. I don't give a lot of details, and I did that purposely. And there's something that I wrote at the beginning of the book. I wrote, it's not meant to tarnish the image of anyone, of the person that I was with, right? And so I try to not give a lot of information about that. And the reason why I do that is, one, because I've forgiven the person. I would never do something or want to do something to like tarnish somebody's image.
Yeah, of course.
Also, just like a respect thing.
At the end of the day, you still have a relationship with that person.
Exactly.
Whether it ended the wrong way, you still had that relationship, and there's times that you had good times, I'm sure, with that person.
Definitely.
And of course, there's other things that happen, but you're not just going to focus on that and just bash the person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I share my experiences. And I share my experiences especially with like young girls, because I feel like it's a way for them to learn. After my book, I think it opened up a platform for people to come and ask me a lot of questions. Sometimes I will give more intimate details on a one-on-one basis if it pertains to something that I've personally experienced. In regards to my relationship, I think that I learned so much from that relationship. I learned what I wanted, I learned what I'm okay with and what I'm not okay with. It took me 7 months, so like the incident had happened and we didn't break up for like another 7 months. And like in between that, there was so many things that was going on. One of the things was that I was actually going to therapy with my partner at the time, which I think was extremely helpful for both of us. When we had first broken up, I went through a moment where I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed, especially being African and especially being Congolese.
And being engaged as well.
Exactly.
It's not just a boyfriend girlfriend breakup. It's you're engaged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was very public. Like everybody in our church knew. I think that was the hardest thing. Getting over like what people were going to think, what people thought about me. You know, I felt like I would go into rooms, especially I would go to church, and I would feel like everyone's looking at me and everyone's thinking like, you know, is she okay, or this and that, or like if you want to pray and you want to cry out to God. I know that people would be thinking, oh, she's crying because of her engagement. Sometimes I'm not crying because of that. Like, I'm crying for something else, but everybody would think, oh, you're sad or you're sad. So the breakup in and of itself was hard, but then everything else, dealing with like, you know, people, the response of others, the questions, the things that people would say to you or about you if you heard it, it was like, whoa, you know?
Talk to us about the process of getting out of that darkness to seeing the light.
I think I'm still going through that process. Honestly, like one thing that I wanted to make so clear, and I constantly try to make clear to people, like especially when they come and talk to me, I am not perfect at all, and I am not fully healed. I'm not fully restored. I hope that I made that clear in my book. It's something that I constantly try to emphasize on. I am of the belief that well, for me personally, it's an ongoing process. Some people, your healing happens instantly. But I think that with everything that happened within the last 2-3 years, and not only just my relationship, but even before my relationship, be it childhood, be it everything, I'm in a healing process, you know. Like I had issues before I got into the relationship that, you know, maybe got amplified. So then it's like, crap, I need to like, all this stuff needs to be fixed. Definitely there has been progression, much progression into the light. I was so awkward. You know, I'm a very outgoing person, so went from that and then going through all this stuff and then not wanting to talk to people, being socially awkward. It's like nobody could recognize me. Being able to be in a space where I am today, I'm so grateful, and I know that that's a result of, yes, prayer, therapy, also support system. Support system is everything. Like I say this like shamelessly and so confidently and proudly, like I have the world's best friends and family. I have so much support and so much people that allow me to heal, especially my friends. They allowed me to heal. They allowed me to take my time, and they reminded me like, girl, it's okay if you're not okay. You know what I mean? There's not a deadline for like that I put on myself or that my entourage has put on myself. There's been so much growth that I am, by God's grace, and I'm looking forward to more of like moving towards the light, moving towards becoming the woman that God wants me to be, being fully restored, being fully healed, and being whole. Yeah, being whole.
I like how you said that you're still in the process, because a lot of people think it's one night, you wake up and the process is done, right? So like you said, I'm still going through it. Yes, I've overcome a few things, I'm doing better, but you're still going through that. And that is so important to share, because sometimes certain situations, it takes time. It takes time to heal. And it also takes time to also finding out who you are. Right? And so in that process of like trying to like get out of that whole scenario, you're also finding out who you are as a person. And you also say support system. That is such a big thing, having support system. When you're down, you need someone to speak life into you. So for you to have your family, to have your friends that are speaking life to you, that's all that you need. Like at least you know that even tomorrow you wake up, you're like, I don't want to get up, I just want to stay in bed. You know someone will come and kick you up. Get up, you need to get up, right? So I like that you mentioned that you do have support system. That is one we just had a hot seat.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much. My goodness. I know that someone will be impacted by you sharing your story, and it's not easy. I always tell people it's not easy to share your story. It takes a lot to do that and to really open up. But as a person that you are, as an influencer that you are, where you're going, you have to open up. I really appreciate that you came here to open up to my audience, and people will get to know that it's okay to be hurting. It is okay. There is a process, and you will get through that light. You will see that light at the end of the day. But thank you so much for coming here on this talk show.
Thank you so much for having me.